Welcome, everyone, to the Holstein House Podcast. I'm the West Virginia woman, Robin, of RobinHolstein.com and Holstein House, where my guests get a great night's sleep at a fair rate plus breakfast. This is a podcast that looks at society and culture issues affecting families in West Virginia and the United States, from food preparation and storage, gardening, home repairs, current events, and more. We'll go around the table and back in 60 minutes or less. So let's hang out and talk a while. Good morning, all y'all. You wouldn't know it, but I had a little bit of a false start here just a minute ago, and I had to start over. Listen, this is episode 79 of the Holstein House podcast broadcast here in my bunker in Kanawha County, West Virginia. We're going to be talking a little bit about schedules and balance and things like that, and maybe some AirBTC, maybe some Nostr, maybe some Cold Card. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of pinched for time this morning. This is pre-recorded, obviously. You can see that, and I think I shared with you the other day that we would be pre-recording on Tuesdays for a little while because of the events at the church that I have to be at that start at 10. So I don't know how long we'll be today. It may only be about a half hour, and to give me time to get it uploaded and scheduled so I can get out of here, I've got to do a couple of things before I get over to the church. And this has just been a very hectic few days. If you saw the little bit of the show on Friday, you know that my dad called me and I had to take him to the emergency room Friday morning, and so I didn't have a full live show. Actually, didn't have a live show at all. I did a little bit of a recording, enough to let everybody know I wouldn't be there. But and I apologized for that. But dad comes first, family comes first, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about with the issue of balance. And then might talk a little bit about AirBTC, which is a new platform, airbtc.online, ONLINE. Holstein House has a listing on AirBTC, and we're going to talk about that maybe a little bit about the B&B, a little bit about what's going on at the church, and some things. There's not a lot going on here. We are here at the house, at Holstein House. I've had the calendar closed because of Dad. I did take Dad to the hospital on Friday morning, and they ran a bunch of tests. The emergency room doctor thought maybe he'd seen something on a CT scan of his chest. They were looking for blood clots because he'd had one before. But they didn't see any there. But he did see some calcification in I don't remember if he said veins or arteries, but he said around the heart. I think that's been there for a while, but he said he wanted him to have a stress test, and they wanted to consult with his cardiologist. And so they admitted him. Well, when you go in an emergency room, it takes forever. So it was late afternoon before they got him in a room. And then so his cardiologist didn't come in until late that evening. Once I got him in a room, I came on home. He was settled and stable. He was still feeling kind of bad, but he was okay, and they were gearing him up for his tests. They didn't see any pneumonia. They didn't see any. He did have a little bit of a UTI, so they started him on some antibiotics. And UTI is a big, serious, hairy deal for senior citizens, especially because they can come on quickly with not always a lot of symptoms until it gets kind of bad. So a UTI can lead to sepsis if it's not caught and treated. And Dad has gotten very close to that in the past. And a lot of times when you've had one UTI, it's easier and easier to get them again. So they started him on IV antibiotics, and when his cardiologist came in that evening and told him, he said he didn't think it was his heart. I wasn't there when the cardiologist came in, but he said he didn't think it was his heart, and he wasn't going to um, agree with the stress test. So I went over early Saturday morning. Early by hospital standards. I was over there about 9 o'clock, and the cardiologist come in um, about 10:30 or so, and I was able to ask him. I said, what do you? I don't understand. Why you don't want to go ahead with the stress test? He's already here. And he said, well, he has one scheduled with us, and we'll just move it up and in the office, and we'll do it that way. We don't need to do it here. It's not his heart, it's his lungs. He needs to follow up with his pulmonologist. So the trouble that he's having breathing is probably COPD because he smokes. Yep, he does. He has smoked for 70 some years. And he smokes about a pack a day. And it's not light cigarettes. I mean, it's full tilt cigarettes. And he's not going to quit. I mean, he'll be 83 in a couple weeks. He's not going to quit cigarettes. So he said it was his lungs he felt, and the office will arrange to move his stress test up in the office and follow up with his pulmonologist. Well, so we get him discharged. They prescribed an inhaler for him. We had trouble getting it filled because his pharmacy didn't have it. They said it'd probably be here Monday. Monday came. They just still didn't have it. And so we had to get the prescription transferred to a different pharmacy who said they did have it. My sister was supposed to pick it up for him yesterday. I don't know if she did or not. I haven't heard from her. I'm assuming that they got it picked up or they would have called me. I will call this morning. So then, got him settled. I started having a stress headache. It's going to happen. And on Saturday and Sunday, Saturday evening, I had to get things ready for church, and because church it was Communion Sunday, and got all of that stuff together, and got the bulletins printed out and stuff. So then, I know I'm kind of rambling. Um, on Sunday morning, got up, got dressed, did everything that I usually do on Sundays. Got to the church. Well, on Saturday, let me back up just a minute, because on Saturday evening, just as I was getting ready to wind down for the evening, it was probably about 6:30, 7 o'clock. I got a frantic phone call from the lady that takes care of the sanctuary, that cleans the sanctuary and takes care of the Lord's table, keeps the candles up on it and stuff. And she's just like, it's so hot over here. I'm so sweaty, and the heat's on, and I don't want to fool with it. I don't know what to do. And so I looked at my husband and I said, something's wrong, because the air conditioning was on. So went over and looked around. I couldn't figure, just for me looking around, what was going on, but it was 91 in the sanctuary and the fan was blowing full tilt. And I've seen that happen before here at the house, and I knew it was the air conditioning system. So I messaged him and I said, it's the air conditioning system. It's 91 in the sanctuary. I don't see anything obviously wrong. But I turned it off. I turned the HVAC off, and then I come back over and he had his things, and we went over, and it was simply a wire. It was a wire that it looks like when the grass was being trimmed may have gotten caught in the weed eater, and it was yanked loose. And he found it and he fixed it. And I went in and I turned it on, and the outside unit kicked on, and cool air started coming out. And we think it still needs service. It didn't feel as cool as it should have been, but it was working. And so I need to find the paperwork for the air conditioning, because I think it should still be under warranty. I'm not sure. I don't remember how long the warranties are supposed to last, but I also need to find out, because the people that put the HVAC in, or the air conditioning unit in, supposed to replace the filters. And since the trustee quit and I've been responsible for that, I have not seen any information. I'm not being contacted by anybody to change the filters. So something's not right, and I need to figure out what that is. So I'm going to try to look for that paperwork today while I'm at the church, and getting things taken care of because we have the nutrition program this morning. So anyway, we got that resolved. I got to the church on Sunday morning and it was cool like it was supposed to be. And I was very thankful to the Lord for that little favor there, that we were able to find that and get that it wasn't as big a deal as what we were afraid of. Um, and so we had our regular service, had our, communion. Went a little long. Pastor went over about 10 minutes or so, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. So Dad didn't go to church on Sunday. He wasn't really feeling up to it, and that's understandable. So Wayne and I went to. We usually go to Shoney's, take Dad to Shoney's after church, but this time we went to Bob Evans because Wayne needed to run over to a auto parts store there, O'Reilly's auto parts store, and get something. I don't know what. I don't remember now what it was and what it was for. I think it was for the plasma cutter or something. He needed a wire or something for the plasma cutter, and they didn't have it, but they had something else. And come back, and I went straight to bed. I had a headache. Actually, it's a migraine is what it was. I've had migraines that knocked me out, that I couldn't stand sound and fabric on me. It wasn't that bad, but it was um, it was bad enough. I went to bed. I could feel it in my stomach. I haven't had a migraine like that in a long time, but I could feel the oddness. It's hard to explain that type of a migraine when it bothers your stomach and you're not really sick to your stomach, but there's this discomfort and this headache. And so I was in bed. We got home about, I don't know, 1:30, and I went to bed, and I stayed in bed till about 6:30, 7 o'clock. I got up and got something to drink, and got ready to put the poultry to bed, and you know all that stuff. And yesterday was Monday. I still didn't feel right yesterday. I'm still kind of dragging a little bit today, but it's nowhere near what it was. But yesterday I still didn't feel quite right, but I was able to do most things. But um, today is, you know, busy day, and we have to learn how to balance. So one of the things that I did when I realized that, when Dad said I needed to take him to the hospital, or he wanted to go to the hospital, I knew I had to block my calendar. Otherwise, I could end up with a guest showing up on Saturday afternoon, and I'm at the hospital with Dad. So I do have an app on my phone that I can go in and I can block the calendar um, through the booking company that I use, Free to Book, and that blocks not just the direct book calendar, but it's connected to the Airbnb, and it blocks both calendars. So I was able to do that, and you have to stop and think of these things. Otherwise, you can get yourself in a mess. And I have come very close to getting myself in a mess like that before. It's a big deal when you are trying to host from your home or homestead, and you have family obligations, and you have, this type of um, program that you're trying to do, you know, the broadcast that we're doing on YouTube, because you have to make choices. So Friday, obviously, I wasn't going to be live streaming from here, and I wasn't going to be live streaming from the hospital. So I did a quick update that, look, don't look for this. I'm not going to do it today. And we all need to be able to make those decisions, and we have to be able to do it and know that it's okay to do it. And right now, there's a tremendous amount on my plate. I had a friend asking me, I know you're busy, but and I'm like, no, I just, you have to learn to say no. And sometimes I don't say it soon enough and catch myself in a bind. But I have a lot going on right now, especially with trying to make dad's follow up appointments. Now, I've got the obligations at the church, which involves other people coming in. So I can't just cut that and say, "Oh, don't show up." So we've got the nutrition program today. We've got Bible study in the morning, and we've got lunch and learn at noon tomorrow. We start our Wednesday programs. Then Thursday we also have the nutrition program. So the nutrition program is winding down this week, and next week are the last weeks for it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then we just go to just a straight up Wednesday routine for Bible study and the lunch and learn. So we'll have our breakfast and Bibles and brunch, and then we'll have our lunch and learn. And so that will ease things off for me a little bit there. I also have some doctor's appointments, just regular stuff, dentist appointments, and things that we have to do. And it can be a challenge. We have to be ready to make these decisions. We have to have a plan in place. Now, I don't have a bunch of videos in the can waiting that I can set up to populate later if I can't be here, which is something that I need to do. I do need to get those created. I'm just in a position where I don't have the free time at this point to do it. And that's because of accepting the responsibilities of trying to keep our church open. One thing I do have that's supposed to happen today, if it doesn't get canceled, our district superintendent is supposed to meet me this morning at the church, either right before or right after our nutrition program. And we're supposed to sit down and talk. And this is something that a month ago he said he was going to get back with me on, and he didn't. Let's see. Yeah, the last communication I had from him on this was on June the 15th. So it's been almost a month exactly that he got back to me and said, "Oh, I'm sorry I didn't follow up with you on this," which makes me feel like my time is not important to him. And I may share that with him today. I don't know. I'm rather frustrated with our district superintendent. But I also today have class. I have that certified lay minister class, or certified licensed minister class once a month, and today is that class. And I don't have my sermon. We have a sermon we're supposed to been working on for 2 months, and I have, but I don't have it quite wrapped up. So I've got to wrap it up this afternoon and have it submitted before class starts. I don't like working this close to a deadline. I really don't. I'd rather have it done ahead of time, but I can't. I don't have it done. So, but enough of that. I don't think you want to hear me prattle about that. The bigger point is that we have to learn to balance our time. And I am an example right now of someone who doesn't have a good balance. And it's my own doing, it's my own fault, and I have to do better. And I know this, otherwise I'm going to end up making myself sick, and then it's just all going to be blown up. When you run a business from your home, people sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes people don't see it as a legitimate business. And I don't really want to get sexist, but I see this more out of females that I am familiar with who are running businesses from their home. Whether it's a daycare from your home or let's say soap. A lot of people are into making homemade soap. People assume that because you're working from your home that you can just stop what you're doing at any point in time and take care of something that they want you to take care of. They don't respect you as a business person a lot of times. I say I see this a lot. I've experienced it. I do see it in other people that I'm connected with, and even some folks who are not really part-time, but don't it's not a full-time demand away from from the house. Say they have another office and they're in that office off-site for a few hours a week, but they're also working on behind the scene things or bookkeeping or whatever from their home. It's almost like they treat you as if as if it's a hobby and not a serious business. And I get that a lot myself. I'm running the B&B from the house, but people assume that it's no big deal. You can just do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do, but you can't. Because if you have guests coming, you have to have things ready. And part of that, I see that a lot with the housekeeper issue that I have. She did ask me, the lady who had been who come here a couple of times, she said, "Do you want me to keep doing this?" And I told her, I said, "Well, it has to work. I can't not, I can't, you know, expect you at noon on Tuesday and I've got a guest coming Tuesday evening or Wednesday, and then you're just not there because then now I have, all it's extra because it's extra work because I had agreed you had agreed to do this for me. So that in effect frees me up to do something else, you know. Well, now I've got to do them both. So if what I was going to do was marketing, if I was going to be here in the bunker and working on some marketing materials while, she's supposed to be cleaning, which was hiring her to clean was to free up time so that I could do the marketing. Well, now I have to do both in the same amount of time. I don't know if I'm making myself clear or not. It's hard when you don't have any feedback at all, but so she doesn't appreciate my time and I can't count on her to be here. So she's asking me for yet another chance to do this. And, do I it's insane. It's insane. But right now I don't have time to fool with it. I have to do what I can when I can. I've got to get dad's appointments made and I have to get to the church here shortly and I have to order lunch because right now I don't have anyone that can help me with that. As we're trying to expand our community outreach, we're still doing it with the same amount of people at the church. Now, here at Holstein House, I'm having to close that calendar. That's a decision that I made because I believe my family comes first. And I'm in the position, in the chapter, I use the phrase chapter, I'm in the chapter of my life where I'm I'm responsible for some things with my father. I'm taking care of him. I have a responsibility to him. Now there are a lot of people who I follow on um, YouTube's and on social media, other platforms and things that don't have this responsibility to their parents. Whether they blew it off, whether their parents have already passed away, whether they don't live near their parents. Um, I don't know and don't pretend to know. And I'm not trying to make a judgment on them. But when when you have a parent that you're responsible for, or even a child that you're responsible for, and you're trying to do these things, it changes the nature of your um, social media social media accounts or the ability to produce content. Um, I there is a lot of there are a lot of social media movers and shakers, influencers who can who put out content and put out content and put out content, and they say you got to be reliable. People have to know you're going to be there. If you're going to be there on Tuesday, you got to be there every Tuesday. Yeah, I get that. But I believe that the people who are going to be following me are going to understand that there are other things happening in my world. And that's part of what I would like to share. I don't like to overshare about it, but it's important that people understand that, yes, I'm going to try to be here every Tuesday and every Friday, live if possible, but there are these other things going on. And I I know that's not why you're here today. And a lot of you are probably, if you were here at the beginning, you've probably already clicked off on it. And I understand that. I don't hold it against you. It is what it is. Some days I'm rambling, and this is one of them because I have just been so thrown over the last several days. I've not been able to properly prepare for today's broadcast. And unfortunately, you're being subjected to that. So I'll let me just move on a little bit, and you understand that I had this experience with Dad, and it threw me into a migraine, and I just have not been able to. Yeah, I'm dropping all these things I'm juggling. I'm starting to drop things, and I hate that. I hate that, but it's happening. Uh, in addition, around here, we have a rental that Mr. Holstein he's off this week. He's doing some work on it. He's trying to determine if we can save the structure. It is in really bad shape. And it was in bad shape when we got it. It has continued to deteriorate. There's rot. There's a lot of rot. And I need to find the time to start getting it cleaned out. I was not going to go in. There was a floor he needed to get support under before I would go back in and go upstairs. And so now all the floors are starting to sag it's just in bad shape. And I really think the house is going to have to come down, and we may put a mobile home in there. I don't know, but it's going to have to come down. I believe this, and I thought so from the time we bought it. He wanted to try to save it, but the damage is done. The pipes had burst. There was this before we bought it. The pipes had burst, and she was hauling water in to stay there, and it just really got so bad she just sold it. So we need to get some stuff out of there for her, family photos and things out of the house and boxed up and give them back to the lady that we bought it from, and so she can get it to her family. And we'll see, but I don't think it can be salvaged, and I need to be able to get the stuff out of there. The garden is still growing. A lot of stuff is green, but it's not getting ripe. So I've got a few cherry tomatoes coming on here and there that are ripe. There's a bunch of them on the vines. And if they ever ripen, I'm in a world of hurt because they're going to be massive amounts of them. So I'm tickled about that. The green peppers are kind of coming on. The stupid groundhog just keeps getting into stuff. So I just haven't had time to put up a fence even. And the ducklings are coming up on 9 weeks. I'm pretty sure I have said I have changed this back and forth, and I'm pretty sure we've got one of or two of each. I think we got 2 males and 2 females. And that means a couple of them are going in the freezer probably because I want to make sure, and they may be a little old by some people's standards, for putting in the freezer, but I don't want to be wrong on this, but I'm 99% sure 2 of them are males just by their voice. They're not quacky. They're not quacky at all. They don't sound like the male that I've got, or the adult male that I've got here, but they don't sound right. So I think they're males. I think they're males. The front garden, the strawberries are doing really nicely for the most part. I do have some discolored leaves, and I got to figure out why. If it's just because they're in these hanging baskets and they're getting maybe some of their supply of nutrients cut off, or if I'm missing something. I have put a little bit of coffee grounds on them to help with the soil, get the soil up acid enough, but the ones in the hanging pots, I don't know, maybe they're supposed to do that. I don't know. The ones that are in the ground, the 2 plants that are in the ground are starting to really show nice growth. They really are. They've put out a couple little ones, and the plant itself is starting to get really nice. It's probably the size of a dessert plate, about like that. The blueberry bush is still going fine. I don't see any blueberries on it. I guess it could be next year. We do have a couple of wild blackberry bushes that are out there. One is out at the garage. I know you don't know where that is, but it's on the property line on this side, and one of them is on the back fence. The one on the back fence, I guess the birds are getting to it. I haven't seen anything that looks like it's going to be ripe. So it looks to me like they're being picked off before they get to be the size to harvest. I wanted to talk a little bit about Bitcoin. I don't have the Bitcoin wallet, the cold card wallet. I have not ordered that yet, just because there's been so much going on. I am going to do that. Friend of mine has, or online friend of mine has ordered hers. She has it. I've been looking at the Telegram group for the cold card, and it kind of worries me a little because I'm seeing a lot of complaints about it. But I'm going to see what she has to say and see if she's having any trouble with hers. But I probably will get the cold card wallet. I've said that before. I'm going to continue to say it. I like what I see from it for the most part. The comments on the Telegram group that I'm seeing concern me a little bit. The delays in the shipping and things. So I'm going to try to get that. I want to have that done by this weekend coming. That's my target, is to get that get it ordered by this weekend coming. Nostr, I'm still on Nostr. I haven't had a lot of posts, notes since Dad's been sick, so I've kind of let that's fallen off. So as my morning updates have fallen off since Dad's been sick. Hope I need to get back on that, but that's more of that juggling and things that that just fall away when you're trying to juggle all those things. Honestly, I do get some interaction there, but I'm not getting a lot of deep interactions. I'm not getting a lot of conversation over on Nostr, and I'm still seeing a lot of the Bitcoin is great. Everybody needs Bitcoin. Long live Bitcoin kind of posts, and I have no issue with Bitcoin. I'm not saying that, but it's really it's frustrating on one end because I need more and different interaction than just raw Bitcoin. And I get it. It's a new protocol. It's still very young. A lot of the people that are active on it are the raw Bitcoin types, and I'm not trying to demean them, but I'm past that now. I've had a Nostr account for several weeks now. I need it to grow with me, and maybe it's just that I'm not following the right groups. With the alternative platform, Twitter, I can filter out and follow certain streams and assign people to groups so that, like, let's say for the B&B, I can have a thread of people I have assigned to B&B, and I can look at that and see that conversation. Or news, I can have media in one stream, and I can't do that I know of with Nostr yet. With the different platforms, maybe it's because I haven't fooled around with enough platforms or protocols, or Nostr's the protocol. But anyway, mostly I'm looking at Iris or Amethyst. So I've got Iris on my phone. I've also got Damus, and I use it some because it's like Iris doesn't like to always consistently upload things. I'll try to post something and then the attachment's not there. But if I go back to Damus, it'll upload the attachment. And the same thing with Iris on desktop. Amethyst I have on my little tablet. I have the tablet. I haven't used the tablet since Dad's been sick, so I don't know, there may have been some changes with it. Sorry, I'm getting a headache again, but I want to continue using Nostr. I like the idea of Nostr. I like um, the ability to exchange Satoshis and things on Nostr. But I need to get past like I said, the raw Bitcoin stuff. And it'll come, but it's just I'm a little frustrated with it myself. So, other than that, I know this is probably going to be short. We're only at 35 minutes, and I'm just about done for right now. But I've got to get this uploaded. I've got to get some stuff ordered for lunch for the nutrition program today, and get this uploaded for before I leave the house. I'll have to leave here in a little bit. So, I do appreciate you sticking around this long. If you've put up with me for the past 30 minutes of my rambling, I apologize. We probably have one more recorded Tuesday show, and Friday I think should be live. I don't think there's any reason why I won't be live Friday, and I really hope you'll come back and join me Friday live at 10 o'clock Eastern time, like we usually do. I thank you, and I ask you, I know this one was kind of rambly, but I ask you to hit that thumbs up, to hit the like, whatever the proper protocol is on whatever platform that you're seeing this on, or hearing it, even for those who may hear it on the podcast. I do appreciate it. Please consider going to robinholstein.com, and you can go to the contacts page and see how you can reach me on all the various social media options there. You can go to the menu and select Holstein House on the menu, and you can book your stay with us, direct book or through Airbnb. And you can also go to airbtc.online and look for Holstein House and go there. I don't have that added to my website yet, but it'll be up there soon. So I am going to call it there, even though I haven't gone the full hour. I just have so much on my plate right now, and I need to get this downloaded so I can upload it to YouTube and everything. And I do appreciate your time. I do appreciate you sticking around this long. And I'm sorry I was so rambly. I just it's just one of those days, and I've just got so much going on. It's crazy. It's crazy. But thank you again, and I'm going to go ahead and call it, and we will see you on Friday. Thanks. Bye-bye. So there you have it. Post your comments, do all that boosting, liking, sharing, thumbs up, and stuff that helps spread the word and poke the algorithms. Follow me on most of the big social media platforms, and look for my name, Robin Holstein, or Holstein House. Till next time, bye-bye.